My wife cheated on me with her own father. Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, we've got a story from our /TrueOffMyChest where Op's wife cheated on him with her own father. Before we start, if you have any personal stories of how you got out of a toxic relationship with your cheating wife or girlfriend that you want to share, feel free to email them to me. Let's get started. Original story. This happened over 10 years ago, although, for all I know, she could still be with him. When this happened, I hired a private investigator. The thing is, I already sort of knew. I just needed someone else to tell me it was not all in my head, and I was not crazy. The felt so bad for me he refused his fee. Then he proceeded to take me out for a beer. I want to thank him for that if I could. It meant a lot at the time. It occurred to me that I have never written about this. I mean, that's what this subreddit is for, right? Getting things off your chest? Well, here's what I need to get off my chest. It ended in a nasty and upsetting divorce. Short story, she had confessed to me, long before we were married, that her father had done things to her between the ages of 13 to 17. Her mother more or less knew and treated her like the other woman. Supposedly at some point, she had told a friend once, who informed the police, who investigated, and ultimately it was all dismissed as her seeking attention. Later, I found out that she had told them she had made it all up looking for attention, so they dropped it. I naturally felt sorry that all that happened to her, but was grateful she trusted enough to confide in me. I also naturally assumed all that was behind her since she had no plans to do anything with her family, understandable. In a weird turn of events, she suddenly wanted her family back into her life. I didn't know how to approach that. A part of me knew that could be a bad idea, and a part of me wasn't the kind of man to try to tell someone they cannot bring their family back into their lives, because I'm not controlling and wouldn't want to be. Nevertheless, it threw me for a loop. The first time I knew something was not right was when we stayed over at their house for the weekend. I had come downstairs, and her mother was in the kitchen sitting at the kitchen table and just looking at the wide open basement door. She was so focused and at the edge of her seat. Like, when I started talking to her, my mother-in-law, she almost acted as if she or I was not there, and all that mattered was that door. It suddenly dawned on me, where was my wife? I asked her, and she said, downstairs with her father, never making eye contact with me and still focused on the door. I moved to go downstairs, and she told me not to go down there. I paused for only a second, because I had this very uneasy feeling, but then proceeded to go down to the basement. As I made my way down, I caught a glimpse in the corner of my eye of my wife getting off her father's lap. He was sitting in his computer chair. She was wearing the tank top she had worn to bed and her short shorts, made out of soft cotton. The type of shorts that is so short that you could effortlessly move over a pant leg for easy access. I thought I had seen her fix her pant leg, and he was wearing a long, extra long, t-shirt, which he was now using to cover. I was in disbelief, and honestly, I was confused about what to say or do at the moment because I was not sure if I had interrupted what I thought I had interrupted. I recall her asking me what I was doing up. It was early. I'm not sure what answer I gave her. I was experiencing a weird out-of-body experience. She asked me why I had come down. Again, I do not know what I gave her for an answer, but I remember not wanting to face the situation, so I acted as if I was trying to find something. And I noted 3 things. 1, they were both acting as if interrupted. 2, she seemed flushed and sort of out of breath. 3, one of her highs, the one where she had fixed the pant leg, was wet. She was dripping. I gather she wanted me to basement because she proceeded to help me look for whatever I said I was looking for. But it was agreed upon that whatever it was not down there. Needless to say, I was filled with a lot of raw emotion. Partly doubting my sanity, partly feeling broken and doing everything I could not scream, but in that condition, I felt like I was not there anymore. Physically I was, but my mind was not there anymore. I left the basement, she didn't come after me, and went upstairs, made eye contact with her mother who had tears in her eyes, and just said I'm sorry. I didn't reply, and went to the garage, got in my car, and just drove for hours until I reached a friend's house. It was a nasty divorce. Before we take a look at some replies by other Redditors, take a moment to like the video to show your support to the channel. Don't forget to leave your own opinion on the story in the comments down below. Now let's look at some comments. Thinking_nonstop wrote. That's so fucked up, man. I'm sorry you went through that. I feel bad for your ex-wife as well, in the sense that she was abused by her father and groomed by him, it seems. Because it happened when she was young, it probably messed up her brain, about how wrong it was and is. And from what you wrote about her, at first, not wanting a relationship with her family, it seems as she knew for a while it was wrong but caved back to old ways even if it was messed up. I'm sorry you had to lose so much when all that divorce stuff was going on. It must have been painful to realize so much of your life wasn't how you thought it was. She was wrong to take your stuff and hurt you the way she did. You sound like a genuinely good person, and I'm sorry you went through that shit. Your whole situation is so unfortunate. I hope you're doing better nowadays. And I hope you can find the happiness that you've wanted if you didn't yet. Take care, man. No Palpitation 7893 wrote. Man, that's rough. I have no words really. And then the DNA test results. How does one recover from this? I hope you're in a better place now, but then again, just being far, far away from her is better in itself. If you don't mind me asking, what did the pie find? Also, him looking out for you was wholesome. I wish I could buy you a beer too. Sounds like a great pie. Op replied to No Palpitation 7893 and wrote. Her parents' house has a clear shot through the back windows, across the yard on the other street, and additionally, their driveway revealed the large basement windows. He also followed them and the family on a few outings. The pie went a little above and beyond, in my opinion. He caught them in the act, both photo and video. But, was he a great pie? Yes and no. He admitted to me, afterward, that when he initially was hired for the job, he thought I was an easy mark. That is to say, he assumed I was a crazy jealous husband, and this would be quick, easy money. He took the first cash payment, deposit, basically sitting outside their house, eating lunch, and taking 1 or 2 harmless photos as proof he had been there for my satisfaction. He was going to wrap up the whole investigation without investigating much of anything, or so I was told. The idea of some dude having sexual relations with his willing adult daughter just seemed highly unlikely, and if I was glad to pay, who was he to argue? He knew I was having severe doubts, questioning my sanity, and figured after wrapping this all up, he would suggest I get help. Or offer to extend his lookout at a premium. It was only until he had seen something a little out of the usual, I don't recall what, that he decided to dig a little deep. From that point forward, he just really felt sorry for me, and once he had enough that could stand up, he showed me what he had. I am not trying to put him down. I was grateful he proved I wasn't crazy and that he told me to keep my money. And I am grateful for the beer or two he got me as I tried to hold it together. But I presume it could have gone down a lot differently. Kurwarda Barik wrote. Wow. I am so sorry. I read your previous post and obviously, she is traumatized by her father raping her in her youth. But that doesn't excuse all the shit she has put you through. However, what I cannot comprehend is that her mother knew. She let her husband sexually assault her daughter. And, now as an adult, she's letting her daughter have sex with her own father, her husband, and does nothing? Op replied to. Her mother treated her like the other woman. That's what she told me and what I witnessed. Long ago, when my ex-wife was still young, she told a friend. Because as I understand it, he was sleeping with her starting right after she received her first period, age 13. When her friend informed the police, rightfully so, she insisted to the cops that she made it all up for attention. Meanwhile, she told her mother the truth, her mother supposedly confronted the father, they all cried about it, and life went on, including the father sleeping with her. Fast forward years later, and she was telling me she wanted nothing to do with her family, for obvious reasons. I accepted that fact and appreciated it until after we were married, and she told me she wanted them back in her life. I was not exactly happy with that news, but what was I going to do? I am not a controlling person, and I figured it's not like she would ever be alone with her dad again. Boy, was I wrong. When I caught them, her mother knew they were fucking in the basement. She even told me not to go down there. The whole time she, the mother, was focused on that basement door. And when I went down there, I interrupted them. I confronted her mother on more than one occasion, and her mother, my now ex-mother-in-law, told me it was none of my business. I told her child abuse is everyone's business since this started when her daughter was only 13. But I digress. Her mother treated her like the other woman. Colored Lemon wrote. There are some people in life that get so unbelievably unlucky it's impossible to fathom. I have no words. I experienced a rough divorce, but I can't even contemplate how difficult this was. I hope you didn't get screwed in court too. I'm so sorry, man. I hope you're doing better and can put it behind you. Op replied to Colored Lemon and wrote. She cleaned me out, but they were only physical objects. It was surreal watching her leave, even with my clothes, food, and dishes. The court order was vague and granted her the right to collect anything that was hers. It never actually specified what was hers, so she started pointing at everything when she came with a police officer, left me standing in my apartment with only the clothes I had on. The hardest part was realizing the kids were not mine. I do not know if they are his or not. I just knew they were not mine, DNA test, and while it was heartbreaking, it was also strangely relieving. It was heartbreaking because I always wanted to be a father. Since I was a small child, my life goals were wife, kid, home, job. Pretty basic and straightforward, but it is what I always dreamed of. Most folks, I imagine, want money, power, fortune, and fame. Or when they asked what they wanted to be, they said things like a police officer, doctor, lawyer, and I always said, father and husband. So one of the happiest moments I ever experienced, to the point of being in tears, was when her son was born. I say her son because it is hers, not mine. But at the time, I thought it was my son. Finding out he, and his brother, was not mine was soul-crushing. But at the same time, I was relieved strangely. It meant I could go forward from that point on and leave all of that madness behind me. I had my freedom and could move forward from there. The stuff, physical objects, I could replace. The time wasted, not so much. What do you think about all of this? Do you think Op will ever be able to heal from his wife's betrayal? Let us know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an upload.